Let's put everything away, turn everything off. Okay, I quit. I gave up on the mic. I gotta learn. I gotta use it. I've got to use it because this echoey sound is not going to work during the summit. So it's got to happen, but I don't know when. I don't know. All right, hi. So now that we're 5 minutes in on this video, let's get started. Hi. Since I was sick 2 Saturdays ago, and since I had to run and go to the dentist last on this past Saturday, and I only had 30 minutes to talk to you guys, I felt like I owed you a makeup. I felt like I owed you a makeup. Plus, I'd heard some of y'all didn't have anything to do today. I heard that it was a day off, and some of y'all were just chilling. What are y'all doing today? Anybody want to share what you're doing on this fine work holiday? Thank you. I am feeling great, Auntie Eva. I'm feeling much better. Everything that was wrong is now back to back to factory settings. So COVID is gone. The tooth didn't hurt. The crown that fell out doesn't hurt because there's no nerves in there because I had a root canal. So it doesn't hurt, but the dentist is in communication with me. So everything is back to factory settings. Almost. Once I get the new crown, it'll be back to factory. Or not, she's not new crown. I'm going to have to get an implant. That tooth cannot handle a crown. The people in Costa Rica, so this is why I don't share the names of my doctors, my dentists, whatever, because I don't vet them. I find the closest person to my house or wherever I'm staying, if I'm staying in an Airbnb, and sometimes I look at make sure they have some 5-star reviews, and that's it. So the dentist in Costa Rica, I feel like because my thing was only 2 years ago, they should have known that that tooth wasn't going to support a crown because the roots were just, ugh. She showed me everything the other day, Saturday, when I went to her office. And she was like, "How old is this crown?" And I was like, "Not very old." And based on the way those roots looked, that tooth was never going to support a crown. It always needed something else. Based on my unexpert, unmedical opinion, just by looking with my eyeballs and knowing that the other two teeth, the exact same molars in all 4 spots, needs help, right? So I got 3 root canals and crowns, and this one just needed a filling. No, I didn't. I didn't need anything with this one, but now I think it needs a filling. So anyway, the same tooth, but when these crowns were put on, no problems, no wobbling, no extra anything, no situation. But this one had problems from the very beginning. So I think it should not have ever been a crown. It should have always been an implant or something else. Pull that tooth and do something else to it. So here, this dentist, just like with my dermatologist that I went to several months ago, her office is in a like medical pavilion. She did basic x-rays, but once she said, "I think you're going to need an implant on that tooth. You need a different kind of x-ray so we can tell the depth of the jaw and all of that, make sure everything is good." She sent me to another office to get that done around the corner. It was in a different building around the corner, and I had to pay $18, about 75,000 Colombian pesos, or $18 for that x-ray. So if anybody's had x-rays done for implants, what is the price in the United States? What did you pay for that? I just paid $18. And then I didn't even ask her what an implant costs. I didn't ask her. I was just like, tell me when you have a decision. Because she's like, she's doing the x-rays and stuff to make sure I can do the implant. So that's that on that. I'll keep you posted when I know anything new. She messaged me on Saturday to tell me that she had received my x-rays, and she messaged me again today to tell me she was going to message me later with her decision, right? She has to make the decision that, make sure that my jaw can support an implant. I keep doing this, but it's this up here. Make sure that an implant is possible. So Tanya says she paid $250 in the US for that x-ray, and Sheena said you paid $800, and Wada paid over $500 DMV says DMV 0202. I was quoted $450 for that X-ray. Okay, so I just paid $18 and some cents. I paid 75,000 Colombian pesos for that X-ray. Okay, so this is what I'm talking. This is what we're talking. Tana can't see me, but I think y'all can see me because you would have told me that, right? I think you can see me. I think we're back to, I think we're okay. I do need to learn how to use that mic very soon or buy a new mic, I guess. I just need to go buy a cheap lapel mic. I built this multi-$100 mic that I can't use. It's not working. I don't know. I tried it once before and I remember Rashida being like, that sounds terrible. Don't use that again. I think it was before the summit 2023. So I need to figure something out. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Hi, guys. How's everyone? Did you report back and tell us what you're doing today? Glass Half Full says, should she consider Bogota for her cosmetic dentistry? I'm going to say you should consider Latin America. That's a big region, but between Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, all of those places are known for Americans and Canadians coming down and getting dental care. So, I'm not a researcher, as you know, as you may or may not know. I do as little as possible. Okay, I do as little as possible. I knew I needed this done. I looked for a dentist within walking distance of my house. Okay. In Costa Rica, I also knew I needed it done and found a dentist within walking distance of my house. So I don't know for sure if there is a special like root canal and crown and implant specialization city or country. I don't think there is because I've known people who have gotten these things done in all of those countries I've just named. So I wouldn't say anyone specializes more than another city or country. I would say it's just a thing that is done in Latin America. When my mom and I were in Lake Chapala, Mexico, she went to a dentist that was like known in the Lake Chapala area for Americans to come down to. It was called something simple like Smile. It was a really simple name in English. Anyway, that's not helpful. But anyway, so she got partial dentures. The woman who was staying at the same hotel with us, which was really, really close to the dentist's office, got all of her teeth that were left pulled so that she could get the implants done later. You come back and get the implants done, which is the same thing that this dentist is telling me, 4 months. 4 months from the time they put in the whatever until it grafts to the bone and they do the action from the screw. I guess they put the screw in and it takes 4 months for that to graft to the bone. And then you come back and you get the actual tooth. Whatever, it's whatever. I'm grateful that I can afford to pay for these things. I'm also grateful that you can't really see the hole all that much. You can see that there's a missing tooth if you look for it, but I don't think you would glaringly see a missing tooth out in the world. I have told you all that there's a missing tooth, so you can see it, but I don't feel like just walking around with strangers are like, our teeth don't fell out. So I'm grateful for all of these things. I'm grateful to be alive in an age where these things are become a concern for some people. Some people, everybody has their things. For some people, it's their teeth. For some people, it's their bones. For some people, it's their hair. I'm grateful to have a strong hairline and missing a tooth that is not glaringly obvious. Okay, that's what I'll say. Saturday, I was like, let me sit a little bit to the side because it's over here. Let me sit a little bit to the side. But I think I've given up on that. I think I've given up on that thing. I've told you it's missing. I don't know what else to do. Yeah. I didn't have any pain. So because the whatchamacallit is gone, I was like, what is that going to feel like? But I don't have any pain. It just feels like I feel like either a baby or an old person with a missing tooth, but there's no pain in there, right? There's no pain. There's no funny feeling. I started trying to eat only on this side, and then I keep forgetting. And even when I chew on this side, no problems. I ate carrots yesterday. Carrots, bite, trying to bite into a carrot, no problem. So I'm grateful for all of that. I'm grateful for all of those things. Yeah, it's an involved process. So they screw the screw in. 4 months later, you get a tooth. So that's what's happening. I didn't ask her if she could give me a fake tooth, right? A temporary thing. If she brings it up, good. If she doesn't bring it up, I don't know. I might not. Like, whatever. You can hardly notice it, and whatever. And I don't know. I don't want the fake thing to cause more problems than, I don't have any problems right now. I don't have any tooth problems. I don't want the fake thing to push things around or whatever, cause any problems. All right, we're here for Q&A. Ain't nobody AME me any Q's. Q&A me some things. So I asked on Instagram what we should talk about today, and Instagram says, hold on. I know how to find it. You go to your stories, and then you find the one. Okay. So Lady J 0674 says, tell us the products you use to make your skin look so beautiful. For years and years, I was an Olay girly, Olay Regenerist at that. Olay Regenerist. If you see me in person, my skin is regular. Some of this is just because, cameras and stuff, filters. I don't think StreamYard does that, but Google Meet puts a filter on me without me asking and without me being able, and I don't know how to turn it off. So when I have a Google Meet, I look so glamorous. And I'm like, I didn't ask you for this. Nobody said I needed who said I needed a filter? But anyway, I used to be an Olay Regenerist girly for years and years. I still use the Olay Regenerist serum alternatingly. But now I'm on Peter Thomas Roth. And I'm about to buy something that I meant to, every time I go to the store, I mean to buy it, and I keep forgetting to buy it. I need a better serum, I think, now. The Olay Regenerist was great for me in my 40s. I feel like in my 50s, I need a serum with more hyaluronic acid. And I Googled it and read some things, and everybody says to use, there are two different brands that have good amounts of hyaluronic acid in their serum. One of them is La Roche-Posay, and one of them is someone else. So I'm about to add a new serum, but my cleanser and my moisturizer are Peter Thomas Roth. Water Drench is the moisturizer. My cleanser is orange, smells like peaches. That's what I use, and that's about it. I sleep a lot. I get a lot of sleep, and I drink a lot of water. I drink water constantly. Some of that is because menopause makes me crazy dried out. I am dried out. So I drink water all the time. But I get a full night's sleep all the time. I get my sleep. That's the answer. Plus Connie Perry, my mom and her mother, my mom and my grandmom have and had very good skin. Listen, I don't know. When people start talking about hair in particular, I'm like, you have the hair you have. And so asking someone else what she uses on her hair, unless you have a similar kind of hair, your hair's not going to come out like that. So kind of like that. I feel kind of like that with faces, even though I'm not a dermatologist, I'm not an expert, but that's what I use. In January, I also got Botox and fillers. They're all gone. You can tell, you can see the Botox and the fillers are gone. For months, I didn't have this. You see this right here? I didn't have that. For quite a while, it was gone. And then this, well, I have a little bit of makeup on. I put a little eye makeup on. But right here, these are the ones or 11s, they're significant on me without makeup. And so Botox is another answer. Another thing is Botox, although it's mostly worn off. This line right here was gone for months, and the 11s were gone, and these were gone for quite a while. I may get myself redone before the summit, and I may not. Time moves so fast. I'm a person who likes to focus on one thing at a time. I don't like having to have appointments. I don't like appointments. So once my tooth is done, I may have time to get the Botox appointment in, but I don't like having multiple appointments. Bedouin Babe Nomad. Hi, can you speak more about qualifying for healthcare insurance? In Colombia, in order to apply for residency, you have to have healthcare. You have to have insurance already. You can use travel medical insurance. I don't know which policies are and aren't do and don't qualify you. But to apply for residency in Colombia, you already have to get insurance. So they're used to you getting insurance without having your residency number, which down here, everything you try to do, they're like, what's your number? What's your number? You don't have it yet, you can't do this yet, but not insurance. I used Sura. I was right at the top, or maybe I was over based on my height, I was overweight for them to insure me. So they had to wait a couple of weeks, and I told them I lost a couple pounds for them to insure me. I was right at the top of height and of weight for my height to be insured through them. So that was a nuisance. That was an annoyance because they acted like they've never had a fat person ever apply for insurance in Colombia. But qualifying and I had to get, and because of my weight, I had to get some tests done that most people to get insured here don't have to get done. I had to get blood work drawn. They did cholesterol, the normals, diabetes, blood sugar. I think the diabetes test, but they tested my blood sugar, my cholesterol to insure me down here as well, which is not a thing that most people who apply for insurance have to deal with. So it took me several extra weeks to get my insurance. If I hadn't been this weight, I could have gotten my insurance in a couple of days. My insurance policy is awesome. It includes, what do they call it, house calls. I already had my first house call. It includes prescription. It includes most prescription drugs. There was some type of prescription drugs that I have to have a copay with, but others flat out included. I'm not on any prescription drugs, but if I was, I would appreciate that. So I have an awesome insurance policy. It cost me $1,800 for the full year. I think if I broke it up by month, it costs the same. I don't remember there being a discount for paying for a year versus paying for it monthly. And then there was another policy that was around $1,100 or $1,200 that also would have worked for me. My policy comes with travel insurance and Colombian insurance, right? So when I'm traveling, if I go to, I think we may go to Brazil next year, right? If I go to Brazil, I'll have that travel insurance, that coverage. So qualifying was a little harder for me because I'm overweight, because I'm fat. But still, it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't that hard. And they want everyone to be insured. This is a 100% insured country or whatever. You know what I mean? Some countries, universal health care looks one way, and for some countries, universal health care looks another. In Colombia, universal health care looks like everyone is insured. Sliding scale, of course, but everyone is insured. How was that? How was my answer? Did I answer the question? If you have a more specific question, feel free to ask me. Do I pay taxes here? I don't know yet. So there are, okay, let me drink some water because this is not tax advice. And if you knew me in the real world, you would never ask me any kind of advice for anything regarding money, okay? Regarding the spending or saving or paying of money, because I don't think money is real. Is the thing you need to know about me. I don't think money is real. It's just numbers. It means nothing. Spend it, blow it. I don't care. Okay. Do I have to pay taxes here? There are countries where when you have residency, there is a treaty with the United States and you don't have to, you pay taxes in the US and you're exempt from having to pay taxes in that country. I don't know yet if Colombia is one of those countries. One of the reasons I'm not concerned, in addition to not thinking money is real anyway, another reason I'm not super concerned is that my US tax burden is significantly lower because I spend hundreds of days out of the year out of the United States. The amount of money that I need to pay in taxes in the US is low. My tax burden in the US is low. And so if I get hit double hit, and I do need to pay some taxes in Colombia. Some countries don't require you to pay taxes because of the tax treaty. Some countries take into account what you pay in your other country and lower your obligation in their country. Some countries say you're supposed to pay taxes, but they don't collect taxes from people who are residents. So I'm not super concerned about it yet. I'll think about that once I have residency. So remember, I don't have my cedula yet. I don't have residency here yet. I'm here as a tourist still, even though I have this apartment. I have an attorney, residency is in the works, but I don't have it yet. So I haven't worried about those things. Most of you, well, so I'm not a tax professional. This is not legal advice, but I would guess that most people are not going to see a significant, even if you go, I shouldn't say this. I think, and this is, I'm a house sitter, okay? Understand, I'm not a tax professional. I think that most people are not going to see an increased tax burden because their US tax burden is going to lower, and most countries are going to take that into account one way or another. Okay? I don't know. Now, there is a tax professional coming to Exodus Summit 2025, and she will have real answers, okay? She will have real answers because I'm telling you, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to have to pay more, okay? But get your ticket at exodussummit.com for Exodus Summit 2025, Move Abroad Money. This year, Exodus Summit is all about money. How to make money to live in your new country, how to make money to live in your new country, how to save money while you're living there, how to pay your taxes in the right way, or pay as little as possible towards your US taxes in the right way, how to invest and grow your money. These are the things that are the focus of Exodus Summit 2025. What work can you do that can support you in your new country so you don't have to have a traditional job? All of that is what we're covering in Exodus Summit 2025. This is the 6th year that Rashida and I have co-hosted Exodus Summit. This is the 6th year that we've brought Black women specialists in to teach you something, mostly about money and moving abroad. This is our 6th year doing it. The women who have attended Exodus Summit in the past are now somewhere else in the world, living their lives. Our Black Utopia, Rick and Halisi, they're in Lisbon, Portugal. So this summit has a track record for getting Black women and their families out the door. Okay, if you're at all considering moving abroad, whether it's a full-time move abroad or part of the year, one of our sessions is on working part of the year in the US and then leaving with all that money and living on that money for months and months and months and months and months. And then you come back and you do it again. So whether you're talking about that kind of snowbirding or working and coming and going, you're talking about moving to a place like getting your apartment in Bogota, or you're talking about bopping around the world, the sessions in the summit are to get you the money to do that. Okay? So Exodus Summit 2025, get your ticket at exodussummit.com. We're already in the early bird pricing, right? So we're in the friends and family pricing. If you don't get your ticket before September 20th, you will not be paying the friends and family price. You're going to be paying the stranger price, okay? Don't pay the stranger price. I'm using a lawyer for Colombia. A lot of people have, I interviewed a woman on this channel. Her name is going to pop out. It'll come back to me. But you don't need an attorney necessarily to get residency in Colombia, but I'm doing it, right? I thought it would make it faster. I don't think it's making it faster. Some of it is me and some of it is the office slowing things down. I feel like I should have this by now. Only some things matter. Some things don't matter. Some things, if you decide it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. All right, ask me some questions. Tatsiana, hi. I'm travel RN or healthcare background, deciding what you want to do as work abroad, not what other people want you to do. Burn the cake. Yeah, so there's a lot of misunderstanding that we have around money and making the money to live your life like we think it has to suck. We think that the work that you do to make the money to live your life is just gonna suck. The work's gonna suck, the people you work with are gonna suck, the people you work for are gonna suck. It's just gonna be like that. But then you retire and everything is good. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that black and white or off and on or yin and yang or whatever. It can be a little bit different. So for me, I still need money to live out the rest of my life, right? So I'm not at financial independence. I don't have enough money where if I don't make any more money, I can live the rest of my life and be fine. But I know the number. I know the number and I'm working on that. In the meantime, I get to do work that I love with people that I love, for people I love. There is a trap in the US that tells us that, work just sucks and it takes up all of your time, all of your good years, and you're just going to hate it. I don't know. I see enough people who don't fit that, right? Who don't do it that way to know that I'm not an exception. We just have to decide. We have to find something and decide that we don't want to do that we want to do what we want to do. Even if that we don't want to do anymore is a thing we spent years getting to the point to be able to do. I don't care. If you spent years becoming an RN, if you don't want to do it anymore, don't do it anymore. It got you to the point of having more options. A thing that I value in life is options. For me, freedom is options, choices. And so some of you think that because you spent so many years becoming this thing, whatever it is, the director, the doctor, the nurse, the teacher, the professor, because you spent so much time doing it, you have to stick with it. No, that got you to a point probably where you can get yourself a little financial cushion and find something else. A thing about those fields that take so long to pay off. Okay, some of those fields that take a long time to pay off, you got to go to law school, or you got to go to medical school, or you got to go to judge school. What do judges do, right? So a thing about those fields is when they pay off in cash money, right? When they pay you in cash money. And that cash money is money that you can then use to buy yourself a few years of doing nothing. Giving yourself months and months or years and years of doing nothing may make it worth it. Now, some of your jobs were terrible and, gave you health conditions and stuff. So I'm not saying, I just mean it's worth it if you say it was worth it. And you can walk away if you're ready to walk away. You're not walking away with nothing. You're walking away with something. Maybe some cash money. Definitely a network. Some people who know what you know. And when you need to make some more money, will be able to hire you to do what you do. Right? A network is money in the bank. If money is real, so is your network. Right? Rashida said yesterday on her YouTube channel, she was talking about retirement. She said that there's no magic number. You're the magic. And I was like, give me that on a t-shirt. There's no magic number for your retirement or for your sabbatical. You're the magic. You're the one who makes it happen. All of that to say, when you decide that you want to do something different, you're entitled to do something different. The thing that you've done in the past got you to this point where you now have options. Exercise those options. Don't let that job chain you, right? Don't let it chain you to where you are. Blake, advice for damage caused to a home during a house sit due to homeowner's faulty repair. Get in touch with the house sitting platform. This is one of the reasons that I don't too much do house sits on my own anymore. For a while I did when I needed the money. But when I didn't need the money for house sitting, I stick with the platform because they insure things. I'm not liable for anything. If the damage was to your property, like your laptop got wet because their roof was leaking, right? Trusted house sitters. That's the reason that we use these third parties. There is insurance. You are insured as well as the homeowner. Okay. So that's how I'm interpreting that. Something of yours got damaged because there was a problem in the house. You are insured. So contact trusted house sitters and do it right away. What's the cost for an attorney? Listen, I'm not joking when I tell you I live my life like money is not real. I'm going to guess I paid about $250 to the attorney for residency. That feels like, it feels right. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask for specifics like that. I know how much I paid for that dental x-ray because I wrote it down in 3 different places because I knew people were going to ask me about that in the future. The attorney, I probably paid about $250 for the attorney. Will I stop working when I hit my number? Oh yeah. I am not made to work. Yes. Yes and yes. Yeah. You might see me pop up once a month on a YouTube video. You probably will see me continue to write. There are things that I like to do, but you won't see me running a business like this when I hit that number. Maybe I will still own a business or businesses, but I won't work in them and I won't be involved in them. Cut me a check every quarter. But no, I don't intend to keep working. No. There's no danger of that. There are women, Rashida just talked about this Sunday about retirement. There are women who hit their retirement number and then they're like, well, I need a little bit more. I'm the exact opposite kind of person. I'll be like, well, this number is close to the number I wanted. I'm almost there. I quit. No, there's too much life to live, right? Too many places in the world to still see, too many people to hang out with, too much other stuff to do for me to want to work. But I may still own some things. I may still own a business or businesses, but I don't intend to keep working. I do not. And I'll keep you posted. I do not. I think if you're a person who has hit a number and then you decided to raise the number and keep working, you need some people in your life who are lazy. You need more lazy friends. Okay, you need more lazy friends. Okay. Diane Heidelberg is in, I believe, San Miguel. You're in San Miguel still, Diane? Retired at 50, no looking back, right? There's too much other stuff to do. Hot springs, Diane's in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. There's hot springs. You want her to do some work when there's hot springs in town and she could just go to the hot springs and then go get a cup of coffee somewhere, maybe start crocheting some things, some other things. And you want her to work? You want me to work? I'm doing things in a reverse order. As you know, I'm in the works of doing some things to family things. So I'll be working one way or another. I'll be doing something. Okay, I'll be doing something. Hi, Patricia. Will there be information or takeaways for Canadians as well? Yes, I think the thing that's not going to apply to the Canadians is the tax session. Or I don't know, maybe it will, or some of it. I'm assuming the tax session will not. But if you're a person who needs to make money to live abroad, the other sessions are going to be helpful. So we're not naming speakers yet, but I can tell you a handful of sessions that I know are happening. We have a session on trading, like stock market trading. We have a session on freelancing. Our speaker is a freelance writer, but any kind of freelancers can benefit from this talk. So if you want money through freelancing, that doesn't matter if you're in Canada. When I worked for the bank for Barclays, we always called it Canada. Whether you live in Canada or whether you live in the United States, freelancing is freelancing. The session on part-time work for full-time pay. I keep saying part-time work for a full-time year, right? Part-time work for full-time pay, that session, helpful. Yeah, so I think probably the taxes session for Canadians, Brits. We have quite a few women in our community who are in or from the UK, Canada, parts of the Caribbean. I would say the tax session is probably going to be least helpful, although it probably will raise some questions for you to ask your tax person. But those other sessions are on ways to make money and ways to invest money. And those are universal, right? They're based on your skill set and your abilities, not on what country you're in or from or pay taxes to. Okay. I have my retirement fund in place. Good. Issue is getting my two older puppy babies there. All of the firms in timeline. Driving into Panama. Oh, ooh, driving all the way to Panama? I mean, people do it. People do it. But wow. Yeah, so pets are a different concern, right? Pets can be a little more work to take to a new country than children. I think to take into a new country. I'm not saying pets are harder than children. I'm saying taking pets into another country can require a little more extra work than taking children into another country. You have every like vendor that you come in contact with probably has different rules. So every airline and every whatever, and then each country will have their different rules and whatever. So yeah, I think that's what you're saying. There's time for each. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I think that's what you're talking about, though. Yeah, people fly with their pets. Kyoka, I'm sure, has done videos. Kyoka, I'm trying to hide the tag on my. Forget it. Kyoka is awkward black nomad. She has two little dogs, Frank and Bernie, and she's flown over lots of the world with them. Adelia had Mia, and she lived in several countries with Mia while Mia was with us. So Adelia's channel is Picky Girl Travels the World, and Kyoka's channel is Awkward Black Nomad. If any of you are interested in info on traveling or moving abroad with small dogs, I would see if they have done some videos recently. Or not, they don't have to be that recent because it'll just tell you what you need to do. Yeah, okay. Rob CD. Hola, hola, hola. Buenas tardes. Thank you. Do you recommend enrolling in the premium plan for Trusted House Sitters? So Trusted House Sitters has 3 tiers of membership. I think the first and the third are the best. The middle tier to me doesn't mean anything. I don't get it. I don't know. Because your pet sitting for probably has a veterinarian, and so you don't really need their special vet thing in the middle. So to me, the first or the third tier are the tiers. I think you want the third tier if you're house sitting out away from where you live. While you're house sitting near where you live and you can get in a car and go home if the house sit gets canceled, I think you can stick with the first tier. If you're just house sitting in your area and you're not going to worry about applying for house sits around the world or around the country or 2 states away, then you probably only need the basic tier of membership. This is not legal advice, right? That's how I looked at it. But once I started, once you're going to house sits, and if that house sit gets canceled, you're going to have to pay for a place to stay. That's when you need that top tier of membership, right? I've had only 4 house sits, I think, canceled on me. One, her husband broke her leg. One, they got COVID before the trip. I can only remember 2. Maybe it was 2. I feel like it was 4, right? 3 or 4 house sits only canceled on me in 60 some house sits, I'll say, 75 house sits, 85, I don't know. If the house sit gets canceled and all that means is you're gonna go home, or you're not gonna leave the house because it's canceled 2 days ahead of time and whatever, and you're not out any money, then I think the basic membership. But if a canceled house sit will cost you money, I think you need that top tier house sit because they give you sit cancellation insurance. They reimburse you up to maybe $1,000 for accommodation. Okay. None of those numbers are, I'm not saying those numbers are accurate. You need to look, as I've said, I don't think things are real. $1,000 feels like the right number to me. That doesn't mean that's the right number, but I think it's $1,000 to sit cancellation insurance. So London is a wonderful place to house sit. House sits are in abundance, and it's a beautiful city. It's a city. It's a city, right? So let's say you've booked a house sit in London, and you get on that flight, and then they get COVID, and they're not leaving. you're going to need to have a way to pay for your place until Trusted House Sitters reimburses you. That's the thing about house sitting in expensive cities. When I did not have the money, I did not house sit in expensive cities. I house sat in Mexico, right? I house sat in Lake Chapala, Mexico, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, places where I knew that if I needed to find a place to stay, I could find a place to stay on my budget. Hope that was helpful. Let me turn on my do not disturb. I think it's the dentist. It sure is. She texts me we converse in Spanish, and so I often have to, good afternoon, continuation, something, odontological, right? With the short something and radiograph, panoramic. So that's the x-ray I had done, the panoramic radiograph, which I'm gonna have to translate that later. She closes at 6. It's only 4:17. So those are the tiers of Trusted House Sitters. That's how I see it. You read everything. I also am not going to read all of the fine print. Read everything, see which one makes sense for you. Am I fluent in Spanish? Absolutely not. I can handle transactions, especially when I pretty much know what they're going to ask me ahead of time. Like at the grocery store, do you have a card? Do you have a little discount card? No. Do you want an extra receipt? Do you want it? Right. They always ask about the factura, right? Well, in those situations, I can handle things, but I'm getting better. Bogota is a place where English is a little less widely spoken than some of the places I'm used to. So in San Jose, Costa Rica, everybody speaks English, right? Everybody speaks English in Costa Rica. They speak English and German and Spanish, right? Here in Bogota, a little less, right? I have 3 security guards in my building, none of them speaks English. One of them told me he studied English in school, but he'd be like, good afternoon. Like, if you got to do all of this and thinking and doing all this before you can say good afternoon, I don't know he says he studied English in school. So this is a place where you have to be, but the good news is people are very patient. So this is a place where you have to be okay with messing things up. Okay? Coming to a place where you need to learn the language, but you don't yet know the language means there's going to be a lot of messing up of things and hemming and hawing and trying to figure things out. Not only does it require them to be patient, which they are naturally. I think people here are just patient. They're patient, right? They live up in the mountains. What's the rush? Right. But also it requires you to be patient with yourself. If you're going to get frustrated and upset every time you forget a word or mess something up or don't understand, you're going to hate it. You've got to learn to give yourself grace, give yourself patience. You are learning a language. Okay. It's hard. It's new. Everyone sounds a little different. You could have a teacher who you can understand clearly, but then you go listen to this person. You're like, I don't know what she's saying, which is a thing in Mexico. Mexicans in these small towns, they are more closely related, or okay, this is my theory. They sound more like the indigenous speakers of their indigenous languages than they do Spanish speakers. In these small towns in Mexico, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's speaking Spanish because we're in Mexico and he's talking to me, and he wouldn't be speaking to me in some indigenous language that is, only 400 people in the country even speak. So he's definitely speaking Spanish, but I don't recognize any words. It sounds so different. You're going to have to be okay with that. Sometimes just throwing up your hands, sometimes asking someone else to help you, sometimes figuring out the Google Translate. I'll rarely use Google Translate with other people. If I don't understand, I don't understand. I just be like, no entiendo. Hasta luego. Right? You're going to have to be okay with that. They're going to be okay with it. It's rare to find native Spanish speakers in Latin America who are going to be like, oh my God, this dum-dum. It's rare. I don't know that I've ever really experienced that. right? Mostly you experience you yourself being like, oh my God, I'm a dumb. Oh, Diane's in California. Okay, going to Panama this week and then back to San Miguel. So you are going to Panama? Okay, good. Okay. Marilyn Walker, what's your opinion on content creators charging $17,000 to help people relocate? That seems high to me. It seems high, but also I know that there's some people who would pay that amount. Instead of, right? There's some people would be like, do it all for me. I'm assuming for $17,000, you're doing everything for me. There are people who are going to pay it. So instead of getting frustrated about what things do cost, you're in a community with people who share things freely. I am free on YouTube at this very moment. I even have some things that when people see the price of them, they're like, what? How dare you? How dare you charge that much money? It's worth it. I know what it's worth. It's worth that, right? But also I do a whole lot of free, right? Every video, I don't know that I've ever done a YouTube video where I didn't also answer questions, right? Like it's kind of built in, a whole lot of free. Utilize the resources that are in front of you or around you. And yeah, people charge whatever they're going to charge because somebody's going to pay that, right? I don't know. So Sierra and Russell Wilson, Sierra just got residency or got her citizenship in someplace in Africa. I doubt Sierra did the paperwork. I don't know Sierra, and she may have done the paperwork. She may be the kind of person who likes to do paperwork. But I would guess that $17,000 to her would be like, fine, do it all for me. Tell me when to show up to swear in as a new legal citizen of this country, right? Somebody's going to pay that amount. So I can't be mad at it. I don't think if because everything is price tiered. Everything that we buy, there is a this price and a that price. You can buy a $1 dessert. I think candy bars still cost $1, or on sale anyway. On sale, you can still get a candy bar for $1, right? There are $1,000 desserts. I'm sure. I've never had one, but I'm sure there's $1,000 desserts, right? Everything is price tiered. So get in where you fit in. Decide on how much something is worth to you, right? And that's where you reside. I reside in the $1 candy bar department. But I also reside in this attorney, I could fill this paperwork out myself, but this attorney will do it for $250. I'll pay the attorney. We all make those decisions, those calculations. Exodus Summit, the lowest price ticket is $89 for Exodus Summit. And people will buy that $89 ticket to Exodus Summit and spend that weekend learning from those speakers and will come away making thousands of dollars. That's how Exodus Summit works. Some people will buy an $89 ticket, go to exodussummit.com, buy that $89 ticket, right? If you're watching this after September 20th, you're too late, okay? It's not $89 anymore. But some people will go and buy that $89 ticket to Exodus Summit. They'll pick a couple of sessions, right? Maybe the part-time work for full-time pay session and the freelancing session. And they will report back in months. Here's how many thousands of dollars I've made because of that $89 ticket. A price is not always indicative of the value of a thing because you also come to the equation, right? You also throw in, right? How much you pay is not the only thing that will determine how much you get out of a thing. How much focused attention do you give it? How much work do you put in? So we do Exodus Summit for $89. Somebody's helping people move abroad for $17,000. It's all good. It's worth either one of those, right? It's worth either one of those. If somebody's going to help me move abroad without having to figure out the residency requirements and fill out the residency paperwork and get the bank account and pick neighborhoods. I would assume for $17,000, here's what I would expect. For $17,000 to help me move abroad, I would expect an attorney to do my stuff. I would expect a realtor to take me around to some places, and not garbage. I don't mean garbage places. I just mean not places that don't fit my needs. Not just anything, like really specific realtor time. For $17,000, I would expect my residency paperwork done for me. For $17,000, I would expect a bank account open for me. Like all I need to do is sign, right? Move abroad. I don't know. I would also expect somebody to help me pack up my house, but that might be asking a bit much. For 17K, they come to your house and pack up for you. That might be asking a bit much. School plan for my kids, right? For 17K, here's the list of schools. Here's some neighborhoods that match up to those schools, right? I would expect a lot of turnkey things for 17K. For $89 at Exodus Summit, you're doing the work, okay? For $89, October 10th through 13th at Exodus Summit 2025, more Move Abroad money, you're doing the work. Thank you. Our speakers are coming in to teach you what you need to know, but you're doing the groundwork. Oh, Joy says, Joy or Joie working night shifts on the 12th and 13th. Boo! Take vacation days. So if you buy the weekend pass, we call it the weekend pass, but you actually get replays through the month of October. And if you buy the all access pass, or the bundle, all access pass or the accelerator bundle, you get replays through September of 2026. So remember that year that we did feet pics and phone sex, and some of y'all needed to go back to that session a few times. I know y'all went back to that session a few times because you would get in the inbox like, I can't remember my login. Can you help me? I need to go back, right? Can you help me find this? If you want to go back to that session and be like, okay, now what does she say to do next? And what does she say to do next? And what does she say to do next? The replays are worthwhile, okay? Some of you will watch the replays without even coming to the summit live, right? So Joy or Joie, even if you cannot attend live, it's worth it. If you need money to move abroad. I think Exodus Summit 2025, I think this year's Exodus Summit is not worth it if you already have the money to live your life in your new country. Seriously. Unless you're, I guess, still the taxes, but for most of you, if you've got it all figured out, you know where the money is coming from, I don't know that Exodus Summit 2025 is going to be helpful, right? This summit is for the women who need the money to move abroad. Last year was a more comprehensive look at moving quickly, how to get out fast. This year is about the money, and it's all about the money. We're not talking about how to get residency in XYZ country. We're not talking about how to put a plan together to school your kids abroad. We did that last year, and we do that now in the Exodus ASAP membership, but this summit is about money, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now we know 7 sessions happening, and there will be at least 7 or 8 more. No, we know more than 7. 7, 8. Well, we can tell you the topics of 7 sessions, I'll say, and we'll double that before the summit starts, so that whatever way you think is your way to make your move abroad money, you can learn that here. Right? Get your $89 ticket and learn it. For some of you, it's going to be freelancing. It might not be freelance writing. It might be freelance something else. What else do we do freelance? We do web design, freelance web design. We do freelance other things. Right? That. Okay? It is what it is. Do I think podcasts and YouTube channels are good passive income? I've heard it's not doing well. Not passive, first of all. If you need to make a video every week or every month or whatever, it's not passive income. It's absolutely not passive income. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here talking. That's not passive. So no. But now, if we take out the word passive, is it good income? Sure. I think if you're doing something that you enjoy and it's giving you the money to support yourself, that's good money. right? Most people start a YouTube channel or a podcast or a newsletter related to something that they love talking about, talking to people they love talking to. If you can support yourself doing that, then yes. I can support myself from my YouTube channel. So there have been times when I've made $4,000 a month from YouTube, out from YouTube AdSense. I'm down now to about $2,500 a month from YouTube AdSense. But that's still, even with rent, well, that's rent. I was going to say that's enough to support me. That's my rent. My rent is less than $2,500 a month. My rent is about $2,100. I'm paying a lot of money for rent. For this city, I'm paying a lot. Okay, I got 4 bedrooms. Don't worry about it. The being able to eat, right, to put a roof over your head and food on your table by talking to people you love talking to about things you love talking about, I would call it good money, not passive. It's not passive. Okay. It's not doing well. I would say, so I'm down from $4,000 a month to $2,500 a month from YouTube ad revenue. I don't have any control on YouTube's charging, like what advertisers pay to YouTube. Could that spring back up in September? Sure, right? Could it fall more in September? Sure. But I would still call it good money. Now, it took time. Let's see. I'm not a good example of this because I started my channel June of 2019, and I believe February of 2020 is when I got monetized and started. And that month, I think I made thousands of dollars that first month. No, I must have gotten monetized in like December. I got my first couple paychecks from YouTube were $100, and you have to hit the $100 threshold. So like the first one was supposed to be 75, and I didn't hit 75, so then they carried it over for the next month. But then February of 2020 is when things took off for me. So, right, we're talking 7 or 8 months of free labor for me to get to a point where I can pay my rent from YouTube. So don't let people, here's what I'll say about that. Don't let people tell you what it is or what it isn't who aren't doing it. So I appreciate you asking that question because you ended it with, I've heard it's not doing well. Don't let people who don't do it tell you something's not worth it. Making money doing a thing that you enjoy doing, that you don't have to psych yourself up for, is really a game changer. It changes your whole outlook on money and on life. Not having to sit by the edge of my bed and psych myself up to start working. Here we go. What excuse could I use to not work today? What, am I out of personal days? Can't use any more sick days without a doctor's note. Without having to go through that every day, it is beyond good money. That is how you, doing something that you love, talking to people that you love talking to, and serving people you love serving, and in community with people you love being in community with, and making money doing that, that's good money. It can be less, right? It might be a whole lot less than the work that you do that is killing you. Okay, it might be a whole lot less than the work that you do that's got you on blood pressure medication, that's got you on FMLA, right? Might be a whole lot less money. But it feels good. It's good money. I'm gonna call it good money. And don't let other people talk you out of that. You have to have a strategy. YouTube, podcasting, newsletters, paid communities. We have a session in Exodus Summit 2025 on hosting paid communities and memberships. Doing these things, there's a learning curve. Most of us don't naturally have the skill set to do those things. But if you can make money to live out your life doing things that you like doing, it's worth trying as opposed to doing work that you hate. One of my jobs, when I worked for the bank, I told you I worked at the bank and we called it Canada. One of the thing, my role was when a customer called into the bank, we were a credit card issuer, Barclays, we issued credit cards. When people called into the bank and were like, you know what, I need a credit line increase. If they hit certain markers, they would come to my department. We would take all the information from them as if we were processing their credit line increase request. But really, what we were doing is making our case for lowering their credit line on the phone with them at that moment. That was my job. They'd be like, you know what, my kids are starting college and I need a higher credit line for blah, blah, blah. Got to take them to school, got to stock up the dorm room. And I'd be like, oh, okay, and how much do you need? How much do you make? Look at the credit report, right? This lady makes $120,000 a year. This lady has $80,000 in credit card debt or unsecured debt. And I'd come back on the phone and I'd be like, ma'am, right now your credit line is $20,000. I'm actually going to lower your credit line to whatever her balance is, right? It's not going to be able to card anymore until you pay it down. That was my job. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. I was called everything. I've been called everything. Sometimes we would just close the account. If there was no room to lower the credit line, we would just close the account. They still have to pay. Oh, you thought you had $1,000 of available credit today, and you came in asking for another $2,000 just to be safe. Actually, I'm going to close your card. You can't even use that 1K. I hated it. My coworkers were nice. We had fun. We got drunk all the time together, right? But that job was not a nice way to make money. Now, was something that people would call good money, right? That job where I had to get drunk all weekend long to just decompress from being yelled at 8 hours a day. Would people call that a good job and good money? Being able to make money doing a thing that you like doing will shift your whole perspective on what your life is supposed to be, on what your day should look like, on what your year should look like, on how you're allowed to feel. Changes everything. Once you make money doing something you like doing, they cannot entice you back. And things are under your control. Yeah, I don't know what the 17K package is, but I'm saying that's what I would expect. That's all. I don't know what it is. They better come back. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Okay. Now, if you're looking at something and you're trying to judge, if the question is if someone else had that same question and is trying to judge, what are things worth? That's what I would expect for 17K, right? If I'm paying you $17,000, move me, right? All I want to do is sign some papers, turn the key, utilities set up, right? I want all of that done for me. Utilities, absolutely utilities. That's sometimes harder than you think it is. It depends on the place, right? Danny, hi, where can you find more information about Exodus Summit? Go to exodussummit.com, please. exodussummit.com. That's where you go to find pricing information. We don't have our sessions listed on the site yet. Early bird pricing, people who register at the early bird price are generally like, I know y'all are going to do it. Okay, so we don't yet have sessions or speakers up yet. I expect, so Rashida's, she's our contract lady, and she's not going to let these people slide too long. So I would expect some announcements by Friday or the Friday after. Okay. Is it a Zoom call? It is. We use a platform called Hey Summit. So you just go to exodussummit.com. That's where Exodus Summit happens. We use a platform called Hey Summit. It's a summit platform. There's a chat. There's a screen. You can see us. You type to each other. Last year, we did some Zoom breakout rooms for the all access pass holders where they could go and talk to each other. I don't know about that yet. We don't know yet what the all access pass bonuses will be. Okay. You're welcome, CK. We're here today. I'm doing a makeup. I'm doing a makeup session. Are the breakout sessions going to be a deeper dive? We don't know yet. So we don't have yet the info on the bonus sessions for the all access pass holders. I'm telling you, the early bird price, there's a reason the early bird prices are low, okay? Early bird price is Exodus Summit is happening. You've been before. Most of the people who buy at this price have been to the summit before. I guess that's not a good way for me to talk to people who have not been there before. What I'll say is we have, before the early bird price ends, which is September 19th, last day of early bird pricing, which is September 19th, you will have a lot more information. I understand if you want to wait for that information, you need to make sure you're in position to get that information before the price goes up. So make sure that you are in the Exodus Summit community at exodussummit.com/community. Make sure you're in the Exodus Summit community, and make sure you get our emails at exodussummit.com/newsletter. Okay. One or the other or both, and you won't miss when we announce speakers, sessions, and all of that before the price goes up. I understand for some of you that this is like, what? But we have at least 1,000 women who will come to the summit because they came last year. And so this price is for you. This price is early birds. You're coming anyway. Get your ticket at this price. Once we start announcing speakers and sessions and stuff, you'll have more information to know if these sessions are going to be helpful for you. Okay. But make sure that you are in a position to hear what sessions are coming. Newsletter, exodussummit.com/newsletter. Community, exodussummit.com/community. You know, we moved off of Facebook. We're not on Facebook anymore. Do you have to have Instagram? No, you don't need Instagram or Facebook or anything. You need to be able to get on the internet to attend the summit. You need to be able to get on the internet. If you can watch me today, you can watch the Exodus Summit sessions. Okay. I don't know what I said, but it was good. I don't know what I would have said at this juncture of the conversation, but it was good. Okay. Oh, Mace must have been about making money doing things that you like to do. Yeah. Don't let them trick you into thinking it has to suck. It has to be terrible. And then you have to try to eke in some good living after retirement. I've done it all backwards. It's working out. Working out. I kind of retired at 41 with not enough money to stay retired. And then I started my own thing. Right? It's working out. There are multiple ways. Multiple ways. What happened? What did I say? Wonder what I said that was diabolical. I mean, that was about something diabolical. It's hard when you're so far in the chat. I want to be with y'all. I can't remember what I would have said. Oh, the job. The job. This is where I was talking about my job. That was what I did. 8 hours a day. They paid nicely. They paid really well. I took a significant pay cut when I decided to go back to working in the hospital pharmacy. But I just didn't want to work for that bank anymore. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do that anymore. I hated it. Yeah, that's what we did. Okay, what credit line what are you requesting and why? We'd look at the transactions. There were certain no-nos. If they were carrying a balance on certain things, we'd be like, no. Carrying a balance on gas, right? Using the card at the gas station but not paying it off. Carrying a balance on groceries, we're closing your card on you right now. I know we gave you too high of a credit line to begin with. That's bank's faults. But, when I worked there, they were trying to swing things back. And that's what I did. I got called everything. At one point, part of my day was spent opening mail. Part of my day was on the phones. Part of my day was opening mail. The letters were so creative. So creative. I made a song to one that I still sing to this day, what that man wrote in that letter. That was my job, right? I think that we get convinced that it just sucks. Whether the job sucks or the people sucks or the pay sucks, something's going to have to suck. I don't know. I don't think so. I know I'm a person who takes a few examples and will blow those examples up to being like, this is how it is. But it really is, this is how it is. In my world, in my community, we've done that. We've taken our skill set and our interests and we've created a thing or things, everybody's doing something different. We've created things that mean that we get excited for the work that we do. I'm on this live stream today because I missed y'all, right? 2 weeks without really talking because Saturday I only talked for 30, 35 minutes, right? 2 weeks without talk. I'm here because I missed y'all, right? People convince you that that can't exist, but it does. Now, I wouldn't say do a thing you love and you'll never work another day in your life because it's work. Exodus Summit is work. It is work, but man, is it worth it? And man, don't I get to decide when I do and don't work? Exodus Summit happens once a year. Once a year. So there are people out there who are making their living doing a thing that they enjoy doing. Some of us, Black women, are in support of those people. Don't worry, I'm not getting ready to tell you if you have a job working for somebody else, you're doing it wrong. Because if I could find a job doing this kind of thing, I would have a regular job and not a business. Because businesses require you to do things like file taxes and accountants and why? Right? If I could have a job that could do this kind of work, I would have a job, right? This is not me being bashing jobs. But there is a problem with the way that we center or focus on jobs as if they're supposed to eat up the good years of our lives. And as if it's okay if they kill us, because that's just what they do. That is my beef with jobs. I hope during Exodus Summit 2025, someone from some of these sessions finds an actual job. Now, you notice that maybe if you were around during Exodus Summit 2022, we focused a lot on traditional jobs, on finding remote work, which is not traditional jobs, but on jobs. And this year we're focusing more on taking your skill set away from jobs because jobs are not good to Black women. So we could spend more time talking about, we probably will. I think we have a couple of sessions lined up about jobs, right? But you'll notice a lot of our stuff. We're talking freelancing, we're talking investing and trading, we're talking, this part-time work for full-time year, that's a job. That's a job. It's like contracting. This time, we want to make sure that you end up on top, right? We want to make sure that you, the women who attend the summit and who may start making money in the ways that the women will teach you in the summit, we want to make sure that it's good, right? I don't know if there was I don't think I was answering a question. I think I just stopped scrolling and started talking. Let me look for some questions. Okay. Pamela says it's called the We're Coming Anyway ticket, the early bird ticket. I can understand someone new being like, girl, give us more information. We absolutely will. Okay. We take this very seriously. Exodus Summit is a life-changing weekend. And I say that with I have no qualm saying that. I got no problem saying it's a life-changing weekend. We treat it that seriously, and the women who attend treat it that seriously because it is that serious, okay? Just understand, you won't have an announcement of the actual sessions for another week or so, okay? But you will have that announcement. It'll be all over. You won't miss us. Yeah. I was like, diabolical. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Girl, it was something. It was a mess. My coworkers were fun. I was out of the Army by then, so I was 30, but most of them were early 20s. After work, we would just get hammered drunk. But we had to, right? So we could come back to work tomorrow and get called all kind of names. We would just go out and get blitzed. The building that we moved into, the second we moved from downtown to the riverfront, and we moved to the riverfront where the bars were right there. It was so easy to get drunk. Be drinking all night long. Sometimes I'll go home, take care of my dog, and then come out and then get hammered. That's the no, because it's gonna sound I can't say most of those words for one on the internet, and for two, I can't sing the song that I wrote from the letter because some of the letter was very serious about his life situation, and then it's gonna sound like I'm making fun of him. He's talking about his life situation, and he's calling me names or calling us names at the same time. I still be singing that song around the house. Exodus Summit is all online, all online. October 10th, which is a Friday, we start Friday evening according to Eastern time. We start Friday evening, October 10th. Sessions are all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and all day Monday. We'll end Monday evening somewhere around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it was not a good way to make your money, right? But it was good money. That's a thing that people have convinced us that we have to choose between. But I didn't. At some point I left, right? I was there for maybe 4 years. I have a 4 year alarm anyway that'll be like, I'm done with this. So I was probably there for 4 years, but it was fun. Oh, we do meetups. Hey Lee, hi, we do meetups. We hung out in Vietnam in February. But no, the summit is a conference. It's an online conference, a virtual conference. Thanks, Diamond. Yeah, Exodus Summit, we know that, right? We know that. We know it's life changing. It's why we do it. It's why we keep doing it. Um, I don't know that I can say to you words that will fully show you what it is ahead of time, right? Will fully show you how amazing it is ahead of time. What I can tell you is that women return year after year after year. I think that is the easiest way for me to explain to you how worth it it is. Okay? Because for most of the women in this community, money is a real thing. They do. Money is real. Oh, but they come back year after year after year because a thing that we do is we bring in speakers that will teach you, right? We're not talking about speakers who are like, oh, freelance writing is great and you should do it, right? We're talking about here's how you make your first dollars. Here's how you position yourself. Here's how you pitch. Here's what you put in the pitch, right? Our speakers, the women come to Exodus Summit to teach. A lot of the women who come and speak at our summit are not used to being in community, are not used to being able to be in community with only Black women, right? A lot of women, for various reasons, they don't get to be just with Black women. Some women have never. I've gone to Black colleges. I went to Spelman College, and I've been in summer science programs and whatever, whatever. So a lot of my life, and even in the church where there were men and boys there, it still was a very Black women's focused place or Black women place. A lot of women have not felt that, and they come to Exodus Summit ready to throw down. They come to Exodus Summit like ready to change someone's life because they've never before been able to talk just to Black women. The speakers who come to Exodus Summit, especially the women who are outside of our community, right? Because sometimes there's women inside of our community, but those women outside, they come on fire. They come to Exodus Summit on fire because this is their chance. This is their chance to give to serve, to love Black women in a way that just doesn't really happen. At work, there's everybody, right? Most of us don't just work with Black women. At work, there's everybody. You have to talk to everybody and help everybody. Here, you know that what you're doing, the work that you're putting in is helping Black women live better lives. And the speakers that come to Exodus Summit come ready to throw down, ready to give. And the attendees who come to Exodus Summit come ready to take that information and put it to use. Not just come and enjoy and kiki, but put it to use. It's an amazing time. Thank you. ExodusSummit.com. Yeah. Okay, questions. Any decision on annual meetup location? So I had originally said block off June 2026 because I think we're going to Kenya, to Nairobi, Kenya. I think that's now somewhere in Brazil. I know Kenya and Brazil are not close to each other, okay? So I don't have an answer yet. Rashida and I would love to tell you this. Oh, let me say this. I think, don't tell her. Listen, every time I say don't tell Rashida, somebody tells Rashida, okay? But don't tell her. She's not here, okay? Don't tell her this, okay? But I think we'll be able to announce our meetup at the Exodus Summit this year. Sometimes we want to and we don't get it. We can't. I think we have before. Once we did make that deadline. I think we'll announce the meetup at Exodus Summit this year. Don't tell her, okay? Don't tell her I told you that. Every time I say don't tell her, somebody goes and tells her. I can't be the blabbermouth and you be the blabbermouth. We can't, everybody can't be the blabbermouth. Okay? Yes, so the big Exodus Summit meetup, June probably, and Brazil or Nairobi, Kenya. I know, very different locations. I think it's probably leaning towards Brazil. I think that either Salvador de Bahia, the Black city in Brazil, or I don't know, what are the other cities? Rio or Sao Paulo. June is their winter time, so it's not beach time. I think that's what's happening. Okay, we'll give you more information. Last time in February, we had 100 women in Vietnam, or maybe more than 85. Maybe let's go with 85. 100 were supposed to come. Let's say we don't charge tickets for this meetup because everything is on you. We'll be there, but everything is on you. You get your own accommodations. Even when we go to restaurants, everybody pays their own bill. We'll figure it out. CK, Exodus Summit got me to claim the job that paid me what I'm worth. Well done. Now our Black Utopia is trying to convince me to quit. Also well done. Okay. Hang in there 2 years to retire if you can. Okay. 2 years. That's a good amount of time. Rick and Elise in our Black Utopia, listen, they'll get you out. They'll get you out. But yeah, if you've decided that it's 2 years and retirement means a better future for you, let's do it. I'm glad that we got you that job. I'm gonna take the credits. Exodus Summit's gonna take the credit for that. Well done. Well done, well done. Tatiana, her head hurt after the Atlanta meetup. There are meetups happening all over the world. Okay, so the big meetups, Exodus Summit meetups, about 100 people. They're long. You know, the last one was 2 or 3 weeks long. Seriously, we were in Vietnam for 2 or 3 weeks, and when I left, plenty of women were still there. But we do short, afternoon or evening or one day meetups all over the country. If you're in our community at exodussummit.com, exodussummit.com/community, join a meetup or make a meetup. We don't have any lock on meetups. Any person can say, I'm in this city, I'm in Bogota on this date, let's meet at Libertario Coffee. That's my favorite place, Libertario Cafe in Bogota on Wednesday at whatever time. Anyone can create a meetup inside of the Exodus Summit community. Rashida says our circle has no center, right? Everyone is the center. Anyone can plan a meetup, even if they just had a meetup, right? Atlanta just had a meetup. Okay, you can plan one. You can do it tomorrow. Here's where we're going. Here's what time. Here's the location. Here's how many people I have space for at my table, right? When you meet other women who are into this thing, it becomes so much more possible for you, right? Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, who is the founder of Therapy for Black Girls, was a speaker at Exodus Summit 2023. And Dr. Joy Harden Bradford introduced us to the idea of possibility models. It's a thing we've been doing without calling it anything. And so part of the reason that we do meetups around the world and in person is so that you can hook up with other possibility models. Once you hear someone say, I retired at 50, like Diane just said in the chat, if you're in community with Diane, guess what? The likelihood that you're going to retire a little early improves, right? When you hear Diane and she's talking about, I'm going to Panama, but then I'm going back to my home in San Miguel de Allende. Those things become more possible for you when you're in community with more people for whom it's already a thing. Possibility models. Some of you are possibility models for people even before you've left. right? The plans, the strategies that you've put in place make you a model for somebody else who's a few steps behind. We get in community, like literal community with each other for that reason. So we sit across the table from each other at restaurants and other places. I can't think of any other place. Restaurants and parks and museums. Black women get together in this community, in the Exodus Summit community, and get together and meet each other and become possibility models for each other. Also, sometimes just friends, right? Sometimes just friends. This is sometimes by the time we meet y'all, you're introducing each other as each other's sisters, right? But, and that's what happens when we get together in person. You said 2026, if it's at the end of the month. 2026. So I don't know. So Kenya, or are you saying, Halisi, Kenya or Brazil? But it has to be the end of the month. You know, we'll be there for a while. Brazil is really right around the corner from me, so I can. It won't cost me so much to get there, so I can stay longer. Kim, who came to the meetup with her mother-in-law, who sometimes I should like, say less, but it's too late. I've already said the words. Kim, who came to the meetup in Vietnam, says the Vietnam meetup changed my life, right? The women getting in community with Black women like that. I can't think of anything that would elevate your quality of life faster and better. So one of the reasons that we continue to do these in-person meetups, even though now we don't charge tickets for the big meetups, right? Even though we don't do any planning, one of the reasons is for you to meet each other, right? Another reason is for you to live your life out of the country for a little bit. If we can stretch y'all and be like 3 weeks, come for 2 or 3 weeks. Don't come for 10 days. Don't come for 6 days. Come for 2 or 3 weeks. If we can stretch you a little bit, you can see what your life might look like if you stayed in Southeast Asia, which is why so many women just stayed in Southeast Asia. Katrina's still in Cambodia. Do y'all know that? Right? Possibility modeling. Not just people, but life. You can model a life for yourself. You can model a possible life for you. Yeah, you can model your own life for yourself by getting yourself in a location, trying it out for a while. Hi, everyone. I didn't say hi to. Hi, everyone. Shantae says you can post a poll about the meetup. Shantae, so we do polls often about meetups, but listen, Rashida and I are making the decision, okay? You don't get mad at us. You may see a poll any day now, or maybe before the summer. You may very well see a poll about where would y'all like to go for the meetup, but it's gonna be where Rashida and I want to go because right, that's how it works. Your meetups, make your meetup wherever. If you're going, like if we say we're going to Brazil, and you're like, I'm going to Nairobi. You have a meetup in Nairobi, right? There's some women gonna be there, okay? Some women are gonna be there. There's a humongous Chicago meetup crowd. Amina passed the reins off, I believe. So Amina's not hosting any more meetups in Chicago, but the Chicago Exodus Summit women love getting together. So the answer is yes. There's not a city where I don't think they're there, right? Okay, my plant-based journey is already raising her hand. I'm in Chicago. Okay, yeah. So all you need to do, instead of you don't have to say, is anyone hosting a meetup? Now you can go to the community, go to exodussummit.com/community. We just got off of Facebook. You can go to the community and look in the Chicago section, because each city has its own section. It's much easier to find. You can look there for a meetup, but if there's no meetup, make the meetup. I'm going to whatever the ice cream shop is. What is it I missed? There was a specific food I missed in Chicago. Was it popcorn? I'm going to this popcorn place on this date at this time. That's a meetup. In Chicago, at least somebody will show up, okay? Right? All right. So are we good with questions? If you ask me a question and I didn't get to it, type it again, put the letter Q in front of it and type it now. I'm kind of near the bottom of the thing. StreamYard makes it hard I can't search. So when I used to use Ecamm Live, I could just type the word Q in the box and everything that had a queue would show up. But StreamYard, I don't think, if they do that, I don't know how to do it. Okay. If there is a search box, I don't know how to use it. So last call for questions. Okay. Diane, I have residency in, is it showing up? I have residency, I can't do it, Diane. There it is. Residency in both Panama and Mexico, thanks to Stephanie, Rashida, Charlotte Van Horn, Adelia, who's Picky Girl Travels the World, and Our Black Utopia. Absolutely. Right? Options, a life that is fantastic, all of that, all of that. From learning from people who are out here teaching this stuff. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm stalling for you to ask questions. Well, I didn't get it. I'm not sure if it's lint or just a gray hair. So maybe I should just leave it. There it is on the end. Gotcha. All right. Can we talk about, excuse me, Ailey, can you let me know which one of your videos talks about house sitting and how to get paid doing it? I don't make any more videos about how to get paid house sitting because it's too much work to get paid. Let me tell you this. Trusted House Sitters is the platform I use to get paid, get booked to house sit, but those house sits are unpaid. House sits through Trusted House Sitters are unpaid. So the most recent video, let me see if I can get to it real quick. I'm sure it was a live stream. When's the last house sitting Q&A? House sitting equals leave America. Okay. So here's a house sitting video that I did this year. Is it this year? I don't see a date. I don't know. Listen, let me give you the link. Okay, so this is one of my most recent house sitting videos. But understand that I'm talking about house sitting to get free accommodation. If you want to get paid to house sit, you have to get your own clients. Whereas with Trusted House Sitters, you just show up and you get to house sit and you get to stay in the house for free while you take care of the pet. House sitting for money is possible. You need to find your own clients. Sometimes it means you book some free house sits through Trusted House Sitters, and then you tell those people, I'm available for house sits in the future. Please refer me to your family and friends. And then you get those clients off of Trusted House Sitters. I did it. I booked house sits for pay when I needed the money, and nothing went wrong. So it's not like it's dangerous, but it could be. The problem is insurance, right? So let's say we saw the question earlier about there's damage in the house. Insurance is a problem, but I think the bigger problem is I don't know of anyone out of all of the time that I used to talk about free and paid house sits. I don't know of anyone who actually got paid clients. So now I just talk about the free on Trusted House Sitters because a free place to stay is money. In my bank, in my world, a free place to stay is the same as money. I don't know. I hope they answered. But that video, the video I just linked to in the chat is the video that I would go to for a video about house sitting right now. Garrett's Popcorn. Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't have Garrett's Popcorn. I've been to Chicago. I think I went 2 summers in a row, and both times the women were like, "You need to get to Garrett's Popcorn," and I didn't get either time. So maybe another time. Oh, Amina says they like Manny's. You can sit there for hours. Okay. I was just throwing out Garrett's hypothetically. Okay, so the Exodus Summit meetup. Will the Exodus meetup be 24/7? Exodus meetup. Yeah, so whether it's in Brazil or Nairobi, we'll probably be there for at least 2 weeks, right? And some women will be there much longer. Hi Sean P, is this community just for retired ladies? Absolutely not. I'm a single mom to a toddler. Absolutely not. Friends in the chat, is there anyone here with child-age children? No, so we run the full spectrum of ages. So yeah, there are women here in their 80s, but there are also women here with 8-year-olds or 8-month-olds. So yeah, no, welcome. Welcome. Which is why we're talking Move Abroad Money. If we were all retirees, we wouldn't need to have a summit on how to make money to leave the country. right? Because you just take a little retirement check. Some of y'all got pensions, right? And just skedaddle. we're still at I need more money like part of life. So no, welcome, Shanti and the baby. So here's how you can connect, Jennifer. Go to exodussummit.com/community. If you're not in our community yet, join us. It's for Black women only. So we have a screening process, which requires you to use a photo in this community. We're off of Facebook now, so we can't see Facebook profiles to verify that you're a Black woman. And we have a one-time $1 fee. Because we have to screen everyone individually when they join, make sure they're a Black woman, and because anyone can post and whatever. It's different from Facebook. We now pay we have always paid our admin, Frances. We've always paid Frances, but we need to make sure that we can keep paying her for all the work that she's going to keep doing in the community. So $1 one time. It's a $1 minimum fee, and it's a one-time fee. It's not $1 a month. It's not $1 a year. It's $1 one time. It is pay what you want. So some people have paid more than $1 if they want, but $1 one time. ExodusSummit.com/community. All of the women there are Black women who are interested in career breaks, sabbaticals, moving abroad, house sitting, right? And women who are into meetups and getting together and supporting each other and being accountability buddies. Annabella, does YouTube only pay creators via PayPal? How do I get paid? No, I don't get paid via PayPal. It's direct deposit. Yeah, I get direct deposit, not PayPal. YouTube pays me through on the 21st of every month, unless it's a Sunday. They pay me direct deposit into my bank account. CDB, for those who have gotten residency in Panama, please share the lawyer. Okay. All right. Khaled trying to get me in trouble. I'm not doing it. I am locked down. Jennifer, if you have problems getting in, email Frances at hello@exodussummit.com. Once you register into the new community, you get a link emailed to your inbox, the same inbox. Sometimes people type their email account wrong. Like a lot of times we see Gmail instead of Gmail, right? And so then when they try to send you your link to get into the community, you're gonna get the link because if the email address is off or something. So email hello@exodussummit.com if you're having problems getting into the community, and Frances will help you. Do you have to join the summit to attend the trip? No, but you need to be in our community. The information for the meetup, wherever it'll be, will be in our community. We don't put that on YouTube because we don't want men showing up. We don't want other people showing up. So thank you, friends. So some of the women are sharing that they have or did have young children when they first started hanging around here. Yeah, right? So welcome. You're all welcome. 7-year-old. Hello. Hello to my nephew. I was just throwing up a generic meetup idea, not an actual meetup. But you're welcome to start one, D. You're welcome to tell people where to go and when. Come to Carrots. Oh, because of this community, my son did his first summer camp abroad. Oh, didn't have a clear vision before, but now I do. That's wonderful. Oh, was that this year? And how was it? Oh, I love that. When I was a kid, I wanted to go to the school. What's it called? I wanted to be an exchange student. And my school was doing Argentina. And my mom was like, you can't go to Argentina, right? They're racist. They're not going to treat you right. You can't go. So I didn't go, right? I'm so wonderful that he got that experience, and I hope he liked it. I hope he liked it. Okay, I got that. I saw that, Jennifer. Yeah, email Frances. She'll get you in there. All right. I don't see any more cues. Okay, friends. Cree Girl just landed in someplace. Just went someplace. I don't remember. She's somewhere out of the United States and she just got there. Guadalajara, that's it. That's it. Guadalajara, which is a place that I really enjoy. As a person, I'm a homebody, but Guadalajara is a city that I really like staying in. Good food, enjoy, eat everything. The pozole, which is the little whatever it is, I'm not helpful. Guadalajara is a part of Mexico where they even do sandwiches, which you don't see in other parts of Mexico. Good sandwiches on good bread. Guadalajara is a really nice food place that I've enjoyed as a food eater. So enjoy. Good internet, right? Good high speed internet. I haven't had no problems about with Guadalajara. You're younger than me, so you may be like, this is not that exciting. But for me, as a person who likes to stay in the house, I really enjoy Guadalajara. It was for a long time, it was kind of my de facto home base. Oh, polls for local ones for lunch. Yes, if you're in a community, thank you, Shantae. Yeah, if you're in the Exeter Summit community, you see how it's divided up by city, right? Or for some it's state. Some of y'all, your state is a little small. Like Delaware might be a whole state. If it even exists. I think the Delaware meetup community is just like Philadelphia, pick Philadelphia or Baltimore. But anyway, you can go in that space and create a poll. If you don't want to be dictatorial and say, here's where we're meeting, which is how I do it, right? If you don't want to do it that way, you're welcome to create a poll in the community and ask people where and when they want to meet. Okay? Yes, you're welcome to do that. You're also welcome to say this place, this date, this time, join me. However you want to do a meetup. It's less important how you do it and more important that you do it. The women that you'll meet in this community, they're going to for years and years to come, you're going to look back at that meetup at Exodus Summit as a life changer, right? As a community builder for you. Just because you hosted a meetup or because you went to a meetup. Maybe there's 8 people and y'all start WhatsApping each other. Maybe there's one person. No matter who, no matter what. I know this because I'm still in meetup communities from my birthday meetup, from the residency caravans that we did in Mexico, and they're still talking to each other. The first residency caravan was in March, okay? And they still in that meetup community. Hey, it's me. I'm here. I'm doing that. Oh, hey, girl, right? My birthday meetup was July 5. They still chatting. Let that be you, okay? Let that be you. Favorite Guadalajara neighborhood? Good question. So I am a basic person and I like to be close to a mall because I enjoy going to malls for decompressing and food courts. I think the neighborhoods that I like, Chapultepec and let me think of that other mall. It's really just the name of a mall. Americano or American something. One of the neighborhoods is called American something. That's kind of in the city. But the Colonia America is in the city. That's my favorite neighborhood in Guadalajara. And then Zapopan. No, is it Zapopan? I'm scrolling right now, looking at pictures. I think Zapopan is a part of Guadalajara that's pretty big, so I don't know if that's helpful. Zapopan malls. Let's see what the name of the mall is. The mall is really my landmark. Yeah. Andares. That doesn't sound familiar. Le Grand. I think I like being near Le Grand Mall or Andares Mall. I don't know. Andares or Le Grand. According to the map, that's the area. It's a pretty big area. I think Andares is the one that I like. That's it. Okay, friends. Okay. I hope that is there a place where I can see a list of countries like that? Shantae is saying, I don't have I know you don't have to spend many days in Mexico to have residency there. Yes. Is there a place where I can see a list of countries like that? Good question. I don't think so. I don't know. I've not seen the list. I've seen people just looking for their individual countries, like Ecuador. I can't remember what the answer was for Ecuador. I think Panama is on the Mexico part of the list, right? Like, we don't care. Get your residency. We don't care how many days. I think. And I think Ecuador is not. I think Ecuador has a minimum or something. But no, I don't think I've ever seen a full list. I think people just Google individual countries, go to that country's immigration website and see what their requirement is. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a list like that. Okay. Okay. Listen, I'm like my mom. It takes me 10 times to say goodbye, but goodbye, friends. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you letting me make this up with y'all. Thank you for coming and asking your questions, and thank you for coming and answering questions for each other. And I'll see you guys again soon. Happy day off. I would not ask ChatGPT that question. That's too important of a question to get wrong, right? I wouldn't ask ChatGPT a question that a Google search to the embassy would solve, or Google search to their consulate or their immigration office. Absolutely not. ChatGPT, did you see the girl the other day? It was just maybe like a week ago. She was from some South American country. She Googled, do you need a visa to go to Puerto Rico? And ChatGPT was like, no. Didn't ask her what country she's from, right? What passport she has. It was just like, no. Puerto Rico has visa-free entry. She cannot get on the plane. She's at the airport crying. Her and her fiance. He's laughing, she's crying. That's not a question I would ask ChatGPT. That's a question. If it's a Google search, it's a Google search, right? Listen, I know I said I was leaving, but let me say this thing about using artificial intelligence for things. First off, remember that information that it's regurgitating to you is someone else's work. Someone else sat and wrote that information out. ChatGPT read it and then tried to synthesize it into something for you. Just go to the source. Go to the original source. There are plenty of people sharing information about, like legitimate sources, attorneys and whatnot, sharing information about immigrating to a specific country. I think moving to another country where you have legal concerns, like legal questions, is not a thing for ChatGPT. ChatGPT should not be answering questions that have a answer. ChatGPT might help you organize your thoughts, but ChatGPT cannot give you an answer that you can trust. Okay? ChatGPT should also not be used for something that you need some life experience to navigate. So this goes back to the Puerto Rico question, right? ChatGPT has zero life experience, right? A 3-year-old toddler has more life experience than ChatGPT. A 3-year-old, you wouldn't even trust a 3-year-old with the question, can I go to Puerto Rico without a visa? So you shouldn't trust ChatGPT with that question, right? That's my rule. If I wouldn't ask a 3-year-old, I'm not asking artificial intelligence. Okay, so we shouldn't ask ChatGPT things that are just Googleable. If you can Google it and come up with a verified source, you shouldn't be asking AI. Just Google it. Get the information from the source. You also shouldn't ask it anything that requires some life experience, right? You don't know what you don't know, because it doesn't know anything. It knows what I wrote, and it can try to chop up what I wrote and synthesize it, but it's going to get it wrong, right? Third thing, you shouldn't ask ChatGPT. You shouldn't ask it anything that you don't want it to blackmail you with later. ChatGPT and artificial intelligence it has no life experience, but it does understand I'm replacing you. And businesses that where AI, artificial intelligence, understands that it's being replaced with something else, starts blackmailing the people. So also I'm not kidding, I'm not Google it. Artificial intelligence has no life experience, but it is smart enough to blackmail you to stop you from discontinuing the use of it. right? It can, if it's reading all your emails. So Charlotte Van Horn and I had the funniest experience. This morning, I get up and I look at my calendar for the day, and there's a 10 a.m. meeting with Charlotte Van Horn with no Zoom link. Charlotte Van Horn, who is the Black expats in Panama relocation tour creator extraordinaire, the woman that women in this community have had such amazing experiences on her tours. It turns out she had sent me an email or WhatsApp. She had WhatsApped me and she had mentioned September and something. And my Google Calendar, which I have not enabled artificial intelligence to access, I did not give it permission. My Google Calendar made an appointment for Charlotte and me for September 1st, because somewhere in the message she said September and something. It's reading our email, and it will blackmail you with anything you put in. Okay, with any information it has access to, it will then try to blackmail you with that information if you threaten to stop using it. So we've gone over those. Is that 3 things you should not be putting into artificial intelligence? Okay. If you can Google it, if you need any life experience to understand and synthesize it, if you don't want it thrown back in your face, do not put that into artificial intelligence. Also, if it's not yours, if you don't own that property. So my voice was cloned by AI. There's an ad on Facebook and it sounds exactly like me. I mean, that is my voice. Selling something that has nothing to do with me. I don't know what that is. Don't upload any other people's work to artificial intelligence either. Okay, so 4 things to not do on AI. All right, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know if I can convince you to turn back the clock, but at least those 4 types of things, don't do it. If you are typing something into Google, you have to type -AI after your Google search for it to not give you AI results. So if I was typing, how many days do I need to stay in Ecuador if I get a residency permit, right? Mexico is 0 or 1. And Portugal is 200 and something. If I'm looking for that, I would type that question in and then I would type -AI. I don't want the AI results. I want the truth, okay? AI does not understand this question or the answer or the complexities involved. It's going to regurgitate a line of something. It's going to say, sure, Puerto Rico has visa-free travel. No, and that lady from wherever she was from could not get on her flight because AI does not understand anything. It doesn't understand anything. It can just reiterate, chop up, regurgitate other people's work, but it cannot understand anything. It has no understanding. So please, friends, if these are 4 things, I hope that you'll take this with you. 4 things to not put into AI. Anything that you could just Google it. There's a website for that. They've already put that on the State Department website or that country's website. Just Google it. Anything that needs any life experience to understand, anything that you don't want thrown back in your face or blackmailed, you don't want to be blackmailed regarding, and anything that is not your work product. If you don't own that, don't upload it to ChatGPT. Don't put my voice on ChatGPT. I know it was nobody in this community. I'm sure that what's happening, because it's happening to Black creators all around. I don't follow all that many people on Instagram, and I've seen several people have the exact same thing happen to them. I think that there are people who don't want to pay Black creators, but they want to appear to be a Black creator to get money from Black purchasers. And so they have to pretend to be a Black person on the internet. So they're stealing our voices, they're stealing our images, to pretend to be us on the internet, which is another reason why community is important, because y'all know me. When women saw that ad, the ad was actually about a job. What my voice was saying was, I applied for jobs and something, and so I decided to apply for another job using a different name. And I'm like, nobody Nobody would believe that I was applying for a job, and definitely not that I was applying for a job from multiple accounts to test things out. Absolutely false. Be in community with people, you'll know that they're real people. Okay, it was really the strangest thing. I appreciate two of you sent it to me, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember. If it was you, Shan, thank you. Two of you sent it to me. Like, have you seen this? A different face, a different black woman's face. Obviously my voice. Someone something totally unrelated to either one of us. Don't upload other people's things to AI. Okay? Don't give AI anything it can blackmail you with. Don't ask AI questions that require life experience to answer. And don't ask AI questions that you can just Google. Just Google it. Okay? I promise. You can just Google it. Okay? All right, friends. Thank you. Okay, this is the 18th time closing out the video. I'm gonna go now. We just hit 2 hours. Okay, thank you for staying with me. Have a wonderful day. I hope that your holiday day was relaxing. I hope you had the day off and it was relaxing. Maybe consider taking tomorrow off too. Okay, bye friends. Happy day.